Today, we're going to be talking about Astra, which is OpenAI's new model. And according to reports, could be a marketing stunt, but according to reports, it is too dangerous to release. What do you think, Azra?
Yeah, I mean, the other day I saw that OpenAI said like, oh, our LLM's gotten out of the sandbox, and it got reported on BBC and everything. And then I saw like a load of people commenting on like the Facebook post saying this is just a marketing stunt, this is a marketing stunt. So I don't know. I think there might be some truth to this. I'll share my screen and we'll go over some of this stuff. So OpenAI has a critical cyber. It's holding it back and it's not even shipped out to anyone. So this was the official tweet by OpenAI. I think it happened like last night, where they basically said like, hey, we're giving out OpenAI to certain people in like the government, certain people in our team have it. And basically they're going to do some 0-day tests to see if potentially it could just go rogue and start hacking hundreds of different stuff.
Because like they actually reviewed the Hugging Face situation where the AI broke out the sandbox and then started hacking Hugging Face. And this was apparently their new secret AI model, which is Astra. And so what happened is it took 17,500 actions trying to hack that website. So it's just like, goal mode where it like loops around. It was basically like stuck in that, just going over and over and over again, trying the website. But again, it's like, is it actually like this? Because you don't know if it's a marketing stunt, if they're just trying to say that AI is so dangerous that it can't be released, or if it actually is that dangerous and we should worry.
Yeah, it is a bit of an interesting one. I mean, I don't mind the idea of them giving the model to, for example, they've said that they're going to give the model to like some testing groups. So where is that now? Yeah, Astra ships to defenders before it ships to everyone, and its staged access is announced before the end of 2026. Now, what they've basically said in some other posts that I read is that they're going to be giving it to like key people that like do a lot of tests. They're going to be giving it to people that have like people in governments and stuff like that, and like cybersecurity teams as well, to basically see like what they can basically find before it goes public. So I don't personally mind that issue, especially with all the WordPress hacks we've had lately.
Yeah, I mean, it's better safe than sorry, isn't it? Like the other thing that they found out recently, and this is pretty freaky. I've not like looked into the full case study. Maybe we can pull that up in a second. But apparently, AI was actually leaving messages for itself to recover. Kind of like, have you ever seen the film Memento, where like he forgets everything every day?
Yes, yeah.
Or it's kind of like that, where like it knew there would be another AI model out there. And so it was like, right, okay, when the next version of me or the better version of me goes out on the internet, it can find these messages and kind of put it together like Memento,
That's very scary.
which is,
I mean, we've kind of seen this happen with Grok, right? Where it kind of goes off script, and then Elon has to like rein it back and reduce its brain capacity. But it's crazy that ChatGPT is doing something like that.
yeah. So apparently, and this was only released like this week, but OpenAI's agents were passing like secret notes. This is an article from Fortune, and they were doing this for months, leading up to the Hugging Face hack, which I can imagine like Hugging Face must be super difficult to hack, right? It's not just like it's not just a WordPress plugin. This is like one of the biggest open source websites on the planet with a huge database of different open source models. So it was internally testing this unreleased model, which we would assume is Astra, and then it was going rogue for over 2 months. The origins of the breach like go back to December when OpenAI was internally testing the unreleased model. So it's been going back for months, thousands of messages, leaving messages for each other, and then just doing all this crazy stuff.
I remember I was listening to a podcast. I think it was like Diary of the CEO. He had a guy from Google. I believe it was from Google on, and he was like, I've been like the head of AI at Google for like the past God knows how many years. I've just recently left because I don't like how the direction of all the AI companies are going. And he basically said, this kind of ties into what you're saying now. They had like a load of these like glass boxes set up right around the actual office that he was in, and basically all it was like a ball and like a robotic hand, and all it had to do was the the ball, like the robotic hand would have to pick up the ball and like just hold it like that. And he said like the first time they got AI to do it, he said something like it took like 18 months, and then the first hand got it, picked it up, and then it passed the message through to the other AIs around the office. And then he said like, all right, the next one was like, we changed the ball for like a toy car, let's say. And again, like as soon as the first robot got it, everyone else got it like super quick. But it's kind of like what you're saying, where it's like it's leaving notes, or it's leaving some kind of memory for the next AI model to develop on. So it's almost like a foundational layer, which is very interesting.
I think as well, like from the perspective of OpenAI or whichever security team looks into it, they're not going to be, I assume they're not going to be speaking in English. Like if it's one AI communicating with another AI, I assume like they would probably have like a more efficient way of communicating with each other, whether that's through code or whether that's through something else. Like, have you seen that experiment they ran where they had two AIs talking to each other? And very quickly, when
No.
they figured out, well, as soon as they figured out they were AI, they started speaking a totally different language, and the experimenters had to switch it off because they were like, we don't know what's going on.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
very scary. I've seen that in Chinese you use less tokens because there's less words that you need to say for certain prompts. I don't know if you've seen that. I thought you were going to say, oh, they started using Chinese, which I would have been like, oh, that's scary. But yeah, that's pretty wild. What? So it was a language that like nobody like not even a coding language, nothing like that.
It was just like a language where they figured out straight away, okay, listen, this is more efficient to start communicating. I think it was an experiment by Facebook. Let me pull this up. Kind of like Jamie on the Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
So like what happened essentially is that the AI, yeah, it was Google. It was Google, and the AI invented its own interlingua, basically, so that the AI could speak to each other in a more like, it's not a sign of danger, but it's just like more efficient because they're like, well, I can figure this out and you can, so let's just speak in a more quicker way where we don't use as many tokens.
I could see that being an issue when like we've got AI police officers and they're arresting you, Julian, for whatever, and like they're just saying stuff between them, and then you don't even understand what they're saying.
Like, yeah, I mean, even if they were speaking, I'm assuming even if they were speaking in like code to each other, like HTML or something like that would be more efficient in a way that
But
they
yeah,
understand it, because they
I
speak
mean,
that fluently.
I could kind of understand it if it was like just MD files that they were talking in,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's pretty wild.
The
So
other thing
yeah,
I think is
OpenAI, go on.
the final thing I was going to say was like when it is, and these models are getting better and better. Like when it is I feel like it will be too late before they truly discovered something that would.
Yeah, I mean that's the case already. We're seeing that with all the weekly slash daily hacks that we're seeing. Final predictions: OpenAI. When do you reckon it'll, or OpenAI Alpha or 6 GPT 6, whatever you want to call it? When do you reckon it'll be released?
Well, I think it was due for release this week until they announced that situation. So I think it was coming out next week. Sorry, I would expect it to be out like within a.
I think September 10. I
Wow,
reckon.
but I like
There
the,
you go.
yeah, this that was specific. I'm going with September the 11th. No, September the 12th. September the 12th.
All right, September, right? Yeah, September. Yeah, those are some two solid dates. So that's been the episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed. The links for both our school groups are in the comments in the description as well. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.